Let's turn over now to Seattle, where one man is in police custody this morning after witnesses say he drove through peaceful protest before shooting a demonstrator in the arm. New video shows the suspect getting out of his car, brandishing what appears to be a gun. The 27-year-old victim, who has not been identified, is in stable condition this morning. Joining me now is Seattle Police Chief Carmen Best. She has served in the Seattle Police Department for nearly 30 years. Police Chief, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time this morning with certainly everything that is happening in your city. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you've learned regarding the shooting suspect, any motivation, and have any charges been filed?
Well, the incident happened yesterday in the late afternoon. So we know that the suspect, as you mentioned, is in custody and that the victim of the shooting is recovering at the hospital. What we can tell you is that the suspect, who was in a black car, drove straight into the crowd that was demonstrating in the Capitol Hill area of Seattle. The crowd tried to stop the car as it was progressing speedily down the street. One person from the crowd was wrestling with the driver when the driver pulled out a gun and fired at least one round, striking the person in the shoulder. So that occurred yesterday. We have that person in custody. The motive is yet to be found. We will definitely try to figure out what prompted this very scary and tragic incident in Seattle.
Do you have any sense of whether or not this was some kind of planned attack, or was this an individual who was afraid for his life and responded by shooting at protesters?
Well, I will tell you this. There were a lot of people out there. It's very difficult to say that this person didn't see the large crowd of people, literally in the thousands, when he drove his vehicle straight into that crowd. There did not appear to be, that is, any mechanical issues with the vehicle. And then once stopped, the suspect pulled out a gun and fired at the victim. So again, I haven't personally interviewed him, but it would not appear that this was random or accidental.
Let me ask you about the use of force in your city. And obviously right now, with everything that is playing out in the country, police are under a tremendous amount of scrutiny. On Friday, you and the mayor of Seattle banned the use of tear gas for 30 days, except in life-threatening situations. But overnight, police again started deploying a combination of tear gas, flashbangs, and pepper spray on protesters. Explain to us why they used that, given that you and the mayor had banned it for 30 days, because, you know, I got to ask you, were officers in a life-threatening situation to warrant that use of force? One councilwoman, I believe, one city councilwoman in Seattle tweeted out that she was there and that the police were firing tear gas without provocation.
Well, that's simply not true. I will tell you that the last thing we wanted to do was have to engage in the use of any type of chemicals or any type of OC spray or tear gas, but the crowd dictated those actions. And I will tell you, it's not the entire crowd. We have a lot of people who come out nightly, protest and demonstrate peacefully, but there is an element of the crowd that is showing up and that is there specifically to incite violence, to target police officers, and to target the precinct. At some point, they were yelling, "Burn it down," talking about our police precinct. We took rocks, we took bottles. There was, following on the heels of the shooting that you already shown, there was another man wandering around the crowd with a gun. It was a very volatile situation. The barricade that we had put up to protect our facilities and to make sure that we kept both demonstrators and police safe was torn down, ripped apart, and many of the people that were there to do ill and harm started advancing on the officers. We tried to use as much constraint as possible. In fact, the demonstrators, the ones that were there to do harm, got within 2 to 3 feet of face-to-face with the officers, and then rocks and bottles began flying. We couldn't have another incident where somebody else was shot in the city of Seattle. So yes, it was definitely a life safety issue.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.